Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime Ruri Rocks. We have the synopsis from Analyst. Mineral collecting is like a modern day treasure hunt. Ruri, a high school girl who loves jewelry and accessories, gets into the world of mineral collecting, venturing into mountains, rivers, and caves. The first volume features numerous minerals including quartz, garnet, pyrite, gold sand, and fluorite. The manga is full of fascinating scenes focusing on specialized tools such as a panning dish, hammer, and topographical maps. An authentic scientific adventure based on the author's solid knowledge of mineralogy. Now this is the synopsis for the manga, however they posted this one as well for the anime. We have in contrast the My Animalist synopsis, which is just the first sentence, so not very helpful. Synopsis anyway is pretty spot on. We have Ruri, our high school girl, which is the blonde girl, who she likes jewelry, she likes accessories, she is on some kind of... she's somewhere, she finds some crystals, she wants to buy these crystals for some accessories. She is going to her mom, the mom is saying, no, you don't, I'm not giving you money for some accessories. Grandpa always brought those whenever he harvested some vegetables, whatever. So she's like, you know what? You don't give me money to buy them. I'm gonna find them myself. And this is where we find the second main character, which is Nagi, which is the black-haired girl. And she is like a college student. And she's in some kind of mineral club. I don't know what exactly. However, the club is focusing generally around minerals and, you know, mineralogy, as you see down here, which I am very terrible at pronouncing. I watched the first 4 episodes. Now, the very first episode is very well animated, which is why you want to always watch like the first 3 to see how it holds up. The animation is then going to set it down a little bit. It is still very well animated. It is a really beautiful anime. We see a lot of nature shots. We see a lot of rivers, a lot of woods, some rocky areas, not necessarily mountains, but, you know, some hilly areas with a lot of rocks because, you know, mineralogy. And we do spend some time in this college room you see here, which has a bunch of books where we have the third character being introduced, which is like another college student inside this mineralogy club. And overall, it was pretty enjoyable. Naturally, if you do not like learning, this is not going to be a show for you. You do have to have some interest in learning something new, which I do have, and it is doing a really good job at presenting knowledge, which I like a lot. You know, cute girls doing some stuff and me getting knowledge, it's a plus for me. Again, animation good, characters nice. You do have some Ruri, who is very useful, very, you know, she is more the doing type, while Nagi is the more mature character. She has the knowledge and, you know, she is more or less teaching Ruri how we get to, you know, find these different minerals. We do some gold sanding with the panning dish as example. It's one of the things you see in the show. And all these minerals, you already see all of these in the first 4 episodes. So we will see how it, you know, what they do next in the show. However, very interesting what they show. And I also like the design. You do have Ruri, who looks similar to like a high school character. Now, Nagi, I do have some pictures. Now this one is a little bit... This one is a little bit, not necessarily conductive. However, Nagi is a very well done character. She is sick, how people describe it. Now, this part, as example, is one of the big animations in, I believe, the first episode, which is not indicative of the whole series. However, she's always shown to be a very well grown body, so to say. And I don't know why, but I just like her body proportions a lot. She's not super thin, she's not super thick, she just is a well-formed body. I mean, this is neither here nor there, but I just wanted to point that out. Another part I really, really, really like is this. As you know, flashbang. As you know, in shows like these, you have like, whenever the halfway point is there, and I believe the ads would play, you have like a picture before and a picture after, which is most of the time like maybe the screen for the name. What they do these little interactions, or these little, whatever you would call them, I forgot the name. But this is one of those, which I feel like I'm getting called out here. So this is just a little footnote, again, in the middle of the episode, when ads would play before and after, we get one. And this one is down here. This is the most important part. These desks exist in perfect harmony. Nothing is out of place, no matter what anyone says. Every item is there for a reason. And you see the desk is very well organized, organized chaos, how I believe it was, described in some shows. And you do see documents, they are kept on purpose, you never know when you need them. Snacks, emergency food supply, best before isn't the same as expires on, so it's fine. I feel a little bit called out because I feel like a lot of people have done this at some point, or a lot of people at least, where you have a desk that seems unorganized, but you know where everything is, and if someone cleans this desk up, you will never find what you search for ever again. So I do like this one, just had to shout this one out. But overall, very enjoyable. If you like acquiring knowledge, this is definitely a show you should check out. But I did not know, as example, the show explains that Sapphire are the second hardest after Diamonds, which I had no idea, to be honest. I thought Sapphire were just one of the, minerals in the spectrum, and I'm like, eh. But supposedly pretty hard. And naturally, we do see how to more or less pan for gold sand if you want. They also explain some physical parts of these minerals. Example, garnet is a lot heavier than normal rocks. So if you want to find garnet in a river, you want to go behind some kind of rock, because they would settle there. The water around would not be strong enough, because they have to go around the rock to, move them further in. So if you want to find something that is heavier than sand, or the other parts of the sand, the best way is to search where the water's not as strong anymore. A lot of stuff fluorite as example as well. We see this one, I believe it was, fluorescent, that this stone reacts to UV light and therefore glows, and how you can make it glow yourself, and that is supposedly, if I remember correctly, fluorescence, which is the name for something that glows in UV light, is named after the fluoride, which is also interesting. A lot of interesting stuff. Pyrite, this one I have, the first time I really remember hearing of this is What was the wolf anime? Spice and Wolf. Because I believe that was where they used pyrite as like more like fake gold or something. And pyrite likes to form in specific geometrical forms, like some kind of dice, which also interesting again. A lot of interesting stuff. 4 episodes in, I learned already a lot. If I wanted to go and stand for some gold, I could, theoretically. I'm a lot smarter now for that. Am I going to do that? No. However, very enjoyable characters. Enjoyable. We do not have an idea about the fourth character, at least for now. Definitely interested. AniList gave it 75%. My anime list has it at 7.68. I would say it is a solid 8 out of 10. Enjoyable. A lot of knowledge you can acquire by watching this. And it's never wrong to be a little bit smart at the end of the day.